because I'm still trying to figure out, in practical terms, how do you go leaving at the airport to pulling off the ground your own venture capitalist firm? What happens in the middle that makes that even possible?
The entire 4.5 years that I spent asking and knocking on doors, and virtually most of the time knocking on doors to millionaires and billionaires and telling them the thesis of my fund and the idea. Every single time I got a no, every day that I got a no, I still worked on the fund itself. I still worked on talking to the founders that I would one day invest in. I still learned and researched and did all of that. So once the first yes happened, once I convinced the first person, it took them about 3 months to really be convinced from the time I met them. And it was just my dogged determination. It was that I knew my stuff. I had researched so much I could run circles around almost anyone when it came to that, and that she believed in the vision that I had, that I could do something. So once I had that, I was off to the race. I wasn't saying, well, what do I do now? I knew what I needed to do now. So that first person felt that I did such a great job with what they set me up to do. They introduced me to the next, and then that person introduced me to the next, and so on and so forth. So I built reputation and I built brand at the same time.
Mm. And what I also hear you saying is that you never stopped developing and working on yourself. Because one of the things I think people do when they run into, when we run, I was gonna say when we run into trouble is that we stop developing who we are. And you didn't do that. You kept studying the material, developing the model, and making sure you knew your stuff so that when you got your opportunity, you were prepared for it. Nothing is worse than to get an opportunity you've been praying for and not prepared for it. For everybody who is watching, who does not know what a venture capitalist firm is, give everybody the short version of exactly what it is you do.
Okay, so venture capital is a small sliver relatively of private equity that invests in startup companies, like tech startups like Twitter, Airbnb, Facebook. All of those had venture capital money early. So we invest early into companies that we think have high potential. We are able to take a higher risk earlier, so we can invest in more companies at a quicker pace, because we're really looking for outliers. We're looking for that Twitter, that Facebook to come along, that Apple to come along. And it is, it's a powerful tool. And there are not a lot of, 90% of venture capital goes to white men. Like white men, they make up 1/3 of the country. And so it is not something that we're supposed to know. It wasn't designed for us to understand. But it kind of took me stumbling upon it to start understanding what it was. And I say it's a sliver, but it's $130 billion a year that goes into venture capital.